How has my life changed since becoming a mom? That's a loaded question. Somehow, I thought that being a practice owner and holding control over my schedule would allow me the freedoms to be a super mom who works hard as a dentist and then shows up to every recital. I quickly learned that while I do have that ultimate power, I'm always just taking from one and giving to the next. In the end of the day, I'm not everywhere I need to be. Here's what I've learned in the last 2 years of becoming a mommy dentist. Hi, if you're new here, I'm a cosmetic dentist, mom to a 2-year-old, and a practice owner. I do content creation on the side, such as these vlogs, and in order to have time for both my practice and my side gig, I send Preston to daycare. Before I became a mom, I did a lot of stuff just for fun, and that's kind of how I started social media. But when I became a mom, I found my time was limited. Social media is a time suck, no doubt about that. So I needed extra help, even beyond my amazing mother-in-law and mom. They helped me take care of Preston until he was about 1.5 years, but they deserved to enjoy their retirement. So Byron and I decided to send Preston to daycare full-time. I found myself feeling extra guilty for sending him to daycare so I could spend my non-clinic days pursuing a side gig that didn't yet generate enough income to justify it. But it really did have a lot of potential, and fast forward to now, I feel I could completely leave dentistry with this income. It's nice to have a side job with actual flexible hours, because the problem with dentistry is that you have to physically work, even for patients that don't end up showing up to their appointments. And although that's rare, I can't help but lose love for my doctor job when that happens. I love what I do. I think I can help a lot of people, but oftentimes I feel like I'm paying someone else to watch my child because I decided to be present for another human. I remember there was a time a patient didn't show up to her appointment, and it made me really upset because keeping their appointment was at the expense of a doctor's appointment I needed for myself. Little did they know that earlier this year, I was pregnant with a baby girl and had a massive bleed. I was scared I had a miscarriage, but the ultrasounds revealed that she was alive. Unfortunately, she was literally bathing in a blood sac called a subchorionic hemorrhage. Due to the nature of this pregnancy, they had to monitor me closely. I bled a little every day, I went to ultrasound appointments every week, and they ordered me to be on pelvic rest. But they did allow me to work. I think just like people assume dentists just sit there all day drilling small holes into teeth. But if you've ever worked as a dentist, you know that's not how it is. Still, I had to work to keep my practice going. Business was going well, and I had a lot of smile transformations on the books that I just could not say no to. Meanwhile, there were very few people I could talk to about what I was going through. I had so many additional complications to this pregnancy, but I would show up every day on social media with a big smile on my face, holding a Starbucks cup. If you guys know me, I'm usually a very transparent person when it comes to my life, but this time my pregnancy was downward spiraling, and I knew putting these problems out into the open would not be good for business, especially if there was someone considering me for their smile makeover. You would think that even women would understand what you're going through, but let's be real. In this business, optics matter. And when someone is spending tens of thousands of dollars on their smile, they want to go to the best. For the first time ever, I felt an immense pressure to project a different life than my reality. Showing up on social media in a showy way is not hard to do. I find a lot of dentists do this on social media, me included. It's so much easier to show off your success, material possessions, and perfectly curated life. It's much harder to display the things that make you feel like you are absolutely losing control. I gave birth to my stillborn baby girl at 20 weeks gestation, and it was the worst thing I have ever been through. After 2 days in the hospital, I came home with nothing but her memory box. The worst is when you lose a baby and you have to deal with the aftermath. We closed the door on her future bedroom filled with her clothes and toys. I had the baby blues just like a regular pregnancy. We kept paying hospital bills months later. And because she was a stillbirth and not a miscarriage, we had to give her a proper funeral, which is what she deserves. But can I be honest with you? That's the last thing I really wanted to do. I just wanted to forget. which was impossible because I still looked pregnant, and people would ask me all the time how my pregnancy was going. And psychotically, I would just smile and play along because I was in complete denial that I lost the baby. Then once it caught up to me, I couldn't stop crying because it wasn't fair. I had tried so hard. And as a professional woman who has almost willed everything she has ever wanted into existence with hard work, discipline, and determination, I felt betrayed by my own body. What I've realized is that what it means to be a mommy dentist is sometimes what you don't see on the surface. The stuff you deal with in private that society has said is not appropriate to talk about. It's an effort to control the optics of your business. We do this to maintain a sense of professionality, to run with the big boys, and to prove to ourselves that we are just as stable and capable as they are. I don't know about you, but I have a problem with this because it's an unrealistic standard. We put expectations on ourselves to show up like men every day, despite being biologically different than them. I mean, we clearly deal with things that our male counterparts do not have to. For example, after my first baby was born, my husband, who's also a dentist, went back to work the very next day. After my stillbirth, my husband went back to work the next day. And I appreciate him for holding down the fort, but they just don't have to deal with the same things, period. They don't have to deal with all the emotions and physical pain and healing that comes with the ability to reproduce. I also understand that patients want to be treated by somebody who is consistently in a good place, and that is not unreasonable, which is why I think women are the masters of compartmentalizing their problems, emotions, and feelings. We have to be. This is the only way to adapt to this standard. And I will say that through everything I was dealing with, nobody could tell I was struggling personally, because maybe I'm just that good. No, I'm just kidding. I think it was a weird combination. I felt happy to escape my life with work. I felt blessed to lose myself in the creation of a smile makeover. But really, when I step back and think about it, I was overcompensating for what I felt was a weakness. In the past month, I've learned that infertility, miscarriage, and stillbirth is more common than I ever knew. There are even women that I considered friends, and I had no idea they were struggling. From the outside, who could know? They look like kick-ass female dentists doing it all. And I don't want to take that away from them at all, because they still are female kick-ass dentists doing it all. But I've learned that having a seemingly perfect life, career, marriage, financial success, and general health is not a reflection of the reality of what people are going through. There is always internal struggle, guilt, and conflict. As for me, I'm not sure yet when I'm going to try again for another baby. Recently, I've been having some bleeding, and I need to figure that out first. But in the meantime, I'm trying to book as many CE courses as I can while I still have the ability to travel. Carrying a child for 9 months and then getting through the newborn stage quickly sucks up about 1.5 years of your life. And as somebody who cares deeply about the progression of her career, this is a really long hiatus. One that is 100% worth it, but comes at the detriment to my own career goals. They say women can have it all, but can they really? I've found my business to be more productive since I had a baby. I work less, we make more, but this all took effort, and at some point I wonder if I could ever fully give up dentisting. I already feel an immense amount of guilt missing out on Preston's daycare activities, not to mention that Preston is a little delayed in his speech and possibly on the spectrum. As a mom, I feel the need to be there for him more. I want to fully support him. I know that it is a goal of mine to have the ability to schedule more flexibly than dentistry allows. However, I do love dentistry, so my goal is to adjust my work schedule to my life schedule. Anyways, that's what it feels like to be a mommy dentist, at least in this limited phase of my life with a 2-year-old. Maybe I should do one of these every year just to see how my perspective evolves. And if you don't have any children, I know it sounds like a lot of complaining, but honestly, I'm thankful. And I feel so proud to be a woman in dentistry, navigating everything and trying to be a good mom for Preston while also honoring my career. If you know me, I've never been a kid person, but becoming a mom has exposed me to such a deep and painful love. It's really scary to feel so vulnerable, but I'm learning to embrace the beauty of life in all of its dimensions. This year it's been a particularly hard year for me, and that's okay. If any of you have had a tough year like me, remember to talk to someone about it. I have a therapist I talk to monthly, and as always, I'm not a therapist, but feel free to DM me and talk to me. Anyways, thank you for watching, and please introduce yourselves in the comments below if you have a chance. Bye.